you can be for Jesus Christ? You see, God did supernaturally provide for our family. We did end up going and finding a condo. We found 2. They said they wouldn't rent to 10 children with just one townhouse. We'd have 2 townhouses. So there we were, split apart. A few weeks later, we found this incredibly big mansion and paid the same for that, to rent that, as we did. God provided. It was in the middle of a 200-acre, beautiful horse farm. Same price for one townhouse as it was for that beautiful 3,000 square foot, 5-bathroom mansion. So what is the temptation? Settle down, kick back, eat, drink, because here's what we're here for, not eternity. My parents wisely encouraged us to embrace a second mindset. Look, if you will, to a ministry mindset. First, a mobile mindset. A second is a ministry mindset. He says in verse 10, "But we have dwelt in tents and have obeyed and done according to all that Jonadab our father commanded us." What is God asking you to do? What is that one area of your life you don't want him to touch? You see, they did what was commanded. What has God commanded us? "Go ye therefore and teach my children," yes. "My coworkers," yes. "All nations, all things I've commanded you." You see, it's incredible that Jonadab's children, the Rechabites, 400 years later, could say, "We've done all that we have been commanded." I can't say that of God's word. And how can we say that if we don't even know what his commands are? You see, Jesus gave 49 commands. And Mr. Gothard has shared these many times. And dailysuccess.org is a free daily devotional you could receive to begin learning those commands. Each morning you get a new email dropped in your inbox. You can take a look at that at dailysuccess.org. What are his commands? Do you know his commandments? Jesus said, "He that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he is the one that loveth me. He that loveth me I will love and will manifest myself to him." What are the commands? What are all things which I have commanded you? Are they the 10 commandments? Jesus gave about 49 general commands when he was here on earth. And he wants us to know his commands and to love his commands and to meditate on his commands. "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. For then shalt thou make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success." Do you want success in your business, sir? Do you want success in your business, young men? Meditate day and night in God's commands. These guys said, "Hey, we've obeyed it. We've done what our father, Jonadab, has told us to do." Is God asking you to do something? The second mindset is the ministry mindset. My family chose from an early age to have that focus. Oh, we didn't go overseas right away. But even when we were just 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, Mom and Dad would teach us to sing. Oh, we didn't sing too well, but we made a joyful noise. Anybody know how to make a joyful noise? You're qualified to sing. Scripture never commands us to make a beautiful, harmonious orchestra, symphony, whatever. He commands to make a joyful noise unto the Lord. So, we went to the place where they enjoyed joyful noises, the nursing home. At least they didn't even hardly hear what we could sing. It didn't matter to them because they didn't hear so much what we sang as much as they saw Jesus shining through us. So we began to sing at nursing homes. We began to go different places and enjoy very good times of serving. We even took little trips. We'd go down to Mexico for a little bit, and we'd serve down there in an orphanage. We went to a local ministry. We traveled down and lived at a ministry for 5 months. Why? Because our desire was to minister. First, a mobile mindset. Second, a ministry mindset. Third, a martyr's mindset. One day we were sitting enjoying a very good time as a family. It was a Sunday afternoon, I believe. We were just, you know how that is. You had dinner And it's one of those big full dinners. It's just like, I feel full. I can sit back and just enjoy fellowship. So we're sitting around the table enjoying conversation. My dad didn't feel his normal self. In fact, he seemed a little uneasy. He said, could I have everybody's attention? Oh, what's going on, Dad? I have a question for you. Are you willing to give your life for Jesus Christ by going to the country of Mongolia? Whoa, where'd that come from? He said, Adam, you're the oldest. Are you willing to give your life for Jesus Christ? Isaac, Derek, Rochelle, David, Sarah, Samuel, Lydia, Rebecca, Matthew, are you willing to give your life for Jesus Christ? Well, Adam said, yes, Dad, I would. You see, all through the years, growing up from a very early age, Dad would push back his supper plate and bring out a biography or the Bible. He'd say, let me read you a story about Hudson Taylor. Let me read you a story about D.L. Moody, Ira Sankey, Fanny Crosby, John Wesley, John Knox, all these different heroes of the faith. Jim Elliot. He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. So when my dad turned to us and said, are you willing to give your life for Jesus Christ? Adam said, yes, Dad. Isaac said, yes, all the way down the line. Do we fully know what that meant? Do any of us know what that means fully? That's where faith comes. Are you willing to trust Jesus Christ and give him the reins of your life and say, God, I'm yours? So what do we do? How do you give your life to Jesus Christ? Oh, I'm not talking about salvation. Salvation is when you become born again in your spirit by receiving Jesus Christ into your spirit. That happens with the words of your mouth and the belief in your heart, just like getting married. On February 4, I know for sure, right then at 2:30 in the afternoon, I said I do. If I would have stood there at the minister's and the altar, right there, the minister says, do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? I just stand there and smile. Nothing would have happened. Not till I confess with my mouth what I believe in my heart did I get married. Same way with salvation. When you confess with your mouth what you believe in your heart, that miraculous new birth takes place. It's a date, it's a time, it's a very specific point in history. Do you have the time you got married to Jesus? Do you have your spiritual birthday? Except a man become born again, he cannot see the kingdom. Do you know when that time is? So my dad looked at each one of us. We said, yes, we're willing to give our lives for Jesus Christ. So I said, okay, how do we start? We're going to start with your time. I want you boys to get jobs. Oh, I knew what that meant. We lived on a farm. Farms are hard work. A lot of you know what hard work is. Romanians work very hard. Oh, that meant throwing bales of hay, 50 to 60 pounds, up to 1,000 a day. Moving hay into a haymow, which was 125 degrees. Sweat pouring down in just a matter of 20 minutes. Working for 4 hours straight, coming down just near delirious. Getting back up 40 minutes later after a good lunch, and doing it for another 4, 6, 8 hours till the job was done. Oh, it was hard work, but we knew we were willing to give our lives every bit to love Jesus with all our heart, with all our soul, with all of our mind, with all of our strength. Do you love Jesus? Oh, I'm not saying, did you sing the song? I'm saying, do you love Jesus to dedicate every aspect of who you are? We had the privilege of doing that for several months. Finally, Dad said, boys, I think we've got some money together. We have some money to check on tickets. How much do they cost? Quick Googled it, found we got some tickets. We can go from Chicago to Beijing, Beijing to Ulaanbaatar. Only $1,600 a piece. Only. That means all my savings. That means all I've got, plus I've got to still keep working until the day we leave. Because my dad said, we want to have 12 people fly overseas and be able to stay from 2 to 5 years. We want to be self-supporting so we're not a burden on any church. What a privilege, but what hard work. We gathered our money together. We kept praying. We kept asking. I will never forget what happened when Christmas came around. My parents, knowing each one of us had worked hard, and especially the younger children, didn't have as much as far as monetary things. So my parents said, you know what, we want to give you one fun gift for these last few months while you're in the States before you have to give up and live in this little tiny apartment in a very cold, isolated, barbaric city. Why don't we give you guys a bicycle? So they went down to the local Walmart and bought brand spanking new bicycles. Oh, those rims shone. Everything looked just dandy on those little bicycles. They came, rolled them in, wrapped them up. How do you wrap a bicycle? But they wrapped them. They brought them in for Christmas. My brothers and sisters were elated, ecstatic, extremely excited. Their first bicycle. But do you know what they did? They said, Mom and Dad, we love you. We thank you so much for these gifts. But can we return them and put the money towards Mongolia? You see, they had a mobile mindset. They had a ministry mindset. They had a martyr's mindset. What does martyr mean? The Greek word martyr means witness. One who is willing to testify even to the point of death. They were willing to give not just their things, but themselves also. What a challenge to see my younger brothers and sisters, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, giving up their very first bicycles. So we gathered all our money together, purchased tickets. Next challenge was, how do you get all these kids and all your stuff that you'll need for 2 to 5 years in all the little luggage pieces? Oh, we packed everything. We packed sewing machines, computers. We packed everything we need for 2 years. But they all had to fit in these 70-pound ship-through bags. And we only got 1 or 2 each. And they weren't for our things. Oh, we packed them like sardines. We just crammed them in there. We got them all just... But guess what? We realized that if every one of these was lost, we also had to give them up that way too. Because the Mongolian International Airlines is notorious for losing luggage permanently on the black market. Yes, they were excited to see us. Yes, they were excited to sell us tickets. But we had to die to everything we owned. So, going through the airport, we had to die to our reputation. What does it look like to see 10 children with mom and dad walking through the airport? Have you ever seen a duck walk with all those little ducklings behind them? Ching, 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 ching. They're all walking behind, and everybody's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, it's a great way to learn language because everybody in the international airport is counting in their own language. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all going through it, and they're all counting like, are these all yours? No, they can't be. You hear them arguing amongst themselves. And you turn to them and say, hey, would you like a little gospel tract? Here's a little Bible. Let me give it to you. Oh, thank you. By the way, where are you going with all these kids? We're going to Mongolia. Mongolia? That's where they send people who are bad. If you do that one more time, I'm sending you out to outer Mongolia or Siberia. We had chances to minister in the airport. Walked up to the first security desk, dropping all of our luggage through this big scanner. It was quite the workout, you know. All these 70-pound containers. Finally, we got to one of them, and beep, 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 beep. Everything went off. Security personnel began swarming around. They're like, what is going on? Excuse me, sir, in your ship-through container number 17B, what is that that cylindrical object with wires coming out of it? I said, well, what size? They said, it's about this big. Thinking, cylindrical object. What could it possibly be? They said, sir, if you don't tell us the next few seconds, we're going to have to call a bomb squad. We're like, can we open it? Can we see it? I was looking through our list as fast as we could. We couldn't figure out what it was. Finally, we found out our big jumbo-sized jar of peanut butter had fallen next to a flashlight. And peanut butter is the exact same density as a bomb.